faces, what's up? I'm Natasha. I am a mom of 4, a certified life transformation and hormone weight loss coach. So I have 2 things, super powerful things that you guys can do today that's going to help you with bloating and belly fat. That's, that stubborn belly fat that women are always talking to me about, the hormonal bellies. We're gonna talk about that today. And just that bloating feeling, because it's just not cute when you're feeling bloated, right? And it's so crazy the amount of research that's coming out right now to show the connection between the gut, the tummy health, and mental health. You know how so many people are having all these mental health issues, struggling with depression, anxiety, low mood. Let me know if that's any of you. And this is a no judgment zone. I'll share a little bit more about my story. For the fresh faces that don't know my story, a couple years ago, 2019, I lost my husband to colorectal cancer. Yes, he was super young. He was actually the same age I'm turning right now as the week he passed away, which is really weird. So it was a week after he turned 37, he passed away from colorectal cancer. He was super young. Amazing dad, and I was left at 33 years old with 4 little kids. Crazy, right? And since then, I struggled with anxiety so bad, you guys, that I had belly pains. I had major pains on my side, in my gut. I always thought something was wrong because I had so much pain in my abdomen area. And I didn't realize it was from the stress and the anxiety that I was carrying. Yes, but now I'm happy to say I'm turning 37 tomorrow. I'm living my best life. I feel amazing. I feel like I'm 22. I'm full of energy. I have no bloating. I have no hormone issues. My skin is clear now. I don't get bloated after I eat. I'm a healthy weight. I've been able to maintain it. And my digestion is good, and I'm gonna share my tips with you guys today. This stuff is so powerful, so I'm really excited about this. You know what, in life, you guys, we have to be so flexible, and that's one thing I've learned going through all of this. This will actually help you with your bloating before I get started, is just being flexible and being willing to change up your routine to align with that next version of you. So for about a year, I used to live stream on every evening for Wellness Wednesday, right? But now my kids' schedule is different. I'm just in a different place in my life personally, and I have different focuses right now. So I want to get my live streaming done during the day, and then I put the recordings in the evening. So that is just something I've given myself permission to do. It works for some people, amazing. If it doesn't, that's okay too. But that's part of us giving ourselves permission to really step into that next version of us, that higher version of us, okay? So that's a side note. Versus us just holding on to all this stress, trying to please people, trying to conform to what other people want us to do. Sometimes it's the people that we love the most, our families even, and we're just holding on to all this stress, and it affects us physiologically. And just watching someone pass away from colorectal cancer so young, with so many dreams inside of him, not wanting to pass away, and just seeing how stress and life just made it so much worse. I am so unapologetic about living my best life now, okay? And I'm sharing this with you because I love you guys so much, and I believe that you're watching this for a reason. And this is to inspire you to really step out and just release that stress, release that burden, switch up your routine, try different things, and give yourself permission to just live your best life and go to that next level, okay? There's so much research out now, you guys, where they're showing how a lot of people, probably, I'm going to say most people, a lot of people have something called dysbiosis. I think I'm saying that right, dysbiosis, and inflammation of the gut, okay? And what that's doing, so basically that's just a fancy way. I'm a nerd, FYI, I have a nursing background, straight up science nerd. Everything I'm talking about is backed by science. I'm not gonna get into all the actual research, but I will quote it. I will link it in my stories for all you health nerds out there. You can go and check out the research articles that I'm referring to right now. But anyway, there's so much research now that's showing how the dysbiosis, which is basically an imbalance in our bacteria in our gut, we need bacteria. Bacteria is a good thing. It's that healthy bacteria that kills off the unhealthy bacteria. It also is important for different hormonal reactions in the body. It affects our immune system and affects our nervous system, so our mood. So they're showing that a lot of people now that struggle with things like depression, anxiety, even just a poor immune system, allergies, low libido, problems focusing, a lot of that has to do with our gut health. And because we don't know that and we're not really aware of that, we kind of just eat whatever, right? And I was like that. And then the other thing is the stress that goes along with it. So 2 things that you're going to focus on today. You can practice this starting today. It's going to change your life. It's going to change your life, and it's just going to help you feel better. Because when you feel better, you look better, you act better, and it's like this positive loop, right? And then you just feel better about yourself. Also, when you're bloated, it feels horrible, right? When your hormones are out of whack, it's harder to lose that belly fat, okay? It causes things like acne. It makes it harder to focus on things, right? That's why this stuff is so, so important. So there's 2 things you're gonna focus on. I hope you guys have a journal. If you've been following me long enough, you know I'm gonna be like, you need to write this down. If I'm saying something important to you, you gotta write it down because it's going to change your life. Okay. I mean, you don't have to, obviously, do whatever you want, but it will change your life, so you might wanna write it down. Anyway, so the first thing is, this is actually really important. We cannot change anything that we're not aware of. So a lot of times people, they always come to me, Natasha, I'm bloated, I feel so bloated, I have PMS symptoms, I have this, I have that, my digestion hurts, I have stomach pains, but they're not really aware of what's causing it. So the first thing you're gonna do, okay, you guys, is for 1 week, I want you to get a journal or get a piece of paper, put it in your kitchen, and write down the foods that you're eating. And then pay attention to how you feel afterwards, okay? Because that's gonna give you some awareness of potential foods that are causing the bloating, okay? Typically, from my experience in working with and talking with thousands of women for the last couple of years and also being a nurse, the biggest thing usually is dairy. If it's not dairy, it's usually wheat. But usually, across the board, it's dairy. Dairy just seems to cause so much bloating for so many people. And I have this conversation all the time with people, especially women. They're like, oh, but I barely have dairy. Okay, that's fine, but check the packaging. Your protein bars or, different, supplements that you're having, sauces, dressings, there's probably whey protein in there or a milk protein in there. What happens is our bodies are not designed to digest milk. That was a marketing strategy for so long because there's so much money in dairy products, right? And I'm not completely against dairy at all. I'll still have ice cream once in a while, I'll still have pizza once in a while, but when I was first trying to eliminate my own bloating and my hormone issues, because I'd get acne and all this stuff as an adult in my 30s, what I did is I stopped dairy for a few months and I healed my gut, which I'm gonna teach you guys how to do that now. And then now I can eat pizza once in a while, I can have ice cream once in a while, and it doesn't bother me at all, okay? So the first thing you gotta do is write it down, write different foods that could be causing the bloating. Write down everything you eat and drink in a day. That's step 1. Write everything that you eat and drink in a day. Try to do this for a week, okay? Everything, even alcohol, even if you drink desserts, teas, sauces, all that stuff, and then write down how you felt that day. Maybe you felt full of energy, maybe you had a foggy brain, maybe you felt bloated. Just pay attention. We cannot transform anything in our lives if we're not aware of it first, okay? That is your first step, okay? Now, the next thing you're gonna do is you're going to eliminate, it's called an elimination diet. You're gonna eliminate the potential foods for at least 21 days, okay? You can do this. Just think end goal, new version of you, your sexy self, healthy, young, youthful, energized, sexy self. Keep that picture in your head, okay? That's what I had to do when I was going through this. And be mindful of chewing, being mindful and chewing your food is huge. That is so right, Diana. Huge, because we're always eating on the go. Just gotta slow down, right? We just gotta slow down. And even being aware of that too. Maybe even writing that down when you're doing your food journal, that, you know, I was really rushed today and I had horrible bloating, or I was constipated, or I was nauseous, or I just had pain in my gut today. Maybe it's even spicy food, because sometimes it could be an actual physiological thing that you're eating, or it could be stress. You know, like I was under a lot of stress today. You know, everything I ate I didn't even eat anything crazy today, but I had a lot of stress, and I noticed I had way more bloating. So write these things down, okay? And then you're gonna do an elimination diet for 21 days. So you're gonna eliminate the foods that you think might be causing it. I really suggest eliminating dairy. If you want to take this one like a next level, you can eliminate breads, because breads can sometimes cause bloating for a lot of people as well, okay? Now the next thing you're gonna do, this is key, okay? And just not only working with myself, but with a lot of other people, I've really taken time to understand the psychology around behavior change, okay? Like permanent behavior change, because a lot of people are like, how do I stay motivated? How do I stick to this? How do I be consistent, right? So those are things that I've really personally spent a lot of time studying, not only for myself as a busy mom, single mom, 4 kids, but for the other busy ladies out there. And one of the biggest things is when we tell ourselves, don't have this, don't eat that, all of a sudden that's all you want. That's all you see, that's all you want, because our brain starts focusing on that, okay? So what I want you to focus on while you're doing this elimination diet for 21 days, okay, is you're gonna focus on every single day, you're gonna start feeding your body and your mind life-giving foods. Write that down. More life-giving foods. Okay, so what are life-giving foods? So these are foods, these are whole foods that are nourishing to our body. They give us life, okay? And I'll talk about some food examples, but then I'm gonna talk about some mental stuff, spiritual food, mental food that's also gonna help with your body, because they've also proven now that every thought that you have has a physiological, biochemical response in the body. Every thought that you have has a biochemical reaction in the body, okay? There's like no running away from this stuff now. Like science has proven this. Stuff that like, you know, spirituality has taught us for generations. Science is proving this stuff now, okay? So what we eat is not just physical, but it's what we're watching, what we're listening to, and how we're spending our time, okay? So going to the foods, what are some examples of life-giving foods? These are foods that are nourishing to the body. So, you know, fruits and vegetables. You guys know that I have like a whole list of foods that are really, they help balance out the hormones, and they help with your energy, and they help with your metabolism. So lean proteins are huge. Proteins are so important for the gut. Probiotics, fermented foods. Those are 2 things I really want you to focus on every single day, having more probiotics. Biotics, healthy bacteria for the gut. So a couple of really simple things. So you could do a probiotic tablet if you want, or you can just have fermented foods. I actually don't really have probiotics anymore. I'll have a little bit in my powders, I'll show you them, but I have apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is so cheap. I'll show you guys. There we go. Apple cider vinegar, so cheap. You literally can just have a tablespoon, half a tablespoon. You can drink it straight if you're a savage like me, or if you want to just, you know, you don't want to go that extreme, you can have it some water and have it with your first meal and maybe even your second meal, or you can have it in powder form. I give this to my kids as well, you guys. Probiotics for their immune system. You know, they're back in school, and I'm doing things as a mom to help build up their immune system and my immune system. And one of the best ways to do that is keep their guts healthy. So you can just a lot of these powders now, I can link them in my stories for you, or under the description if this ends up on YouTube. But a lot of these greens powders, they have probiotics in them, and they have digestive enzymes in them, okay? So digestive enzymes you can get naturally in raw fruits and vegetables, natural. If you start cooking your food, you lose those natural enzymes that our body needs, okay? So if you find that you're like, that would be ideal, but if you feel like you want to have some more digestive enzymes, you can have a lot of these powders, these health green powders have that in them, okay? So this is an example. What is this? Ultimate Daily Greens. I think I got this from Supplement King, I think that was called. And it has, let's see, it has like all the greens in it, like the moringa leaf and the spirulina and chlorella. But then it also has pre and probiotics, the inulin, lactobacilli, a bunch of other probiotics in here. But yeah, there's so many. Like I have this one, I have another one too that I'll give it to my kids. And they just like the fruity flavors. The biggest thing with these guys, you have to look at the ingredients, make sure there's not sugar in it, and make sure there's no whey or milk proteins in it. Because a lot of time, especially if you're getting it from like a cheaper store, a lot of times these brands, not this brand, but other brands will say, you know, it's great for, you know, kids. And like, it's like full of milk protein or whey protein. So you gotta look at the ingredients, okay? You gotta really take your power back. So if you wanna be like super savage with this 21-day elimination diet, you can eliminate milk products, milk protein, like that's like the number one thing typically. You could do breads and then you could do sugar. A lot of people are like, I can't do that, I can't do that. I'm like, okay, chill, relax. Start with like the milk and the protein, or sorry, the milk and the whey proteins, okay? Maybe breads. You can still have brown rice, sweet potatoes, oats, quinoa, those are still carbs. No one's asking you to starve, okay? If you need help with a list of foods that are good for your gut, you can click on my bio there. I have a whole list. I have like, it's in my 27, I think it's like 27 ways to lose weight for busy women. I have lists in there, okay? So you can do that. If you're having a hard time finding that, just DM me on Instagram and I will hook you up. It's free, okay? So somebody said, okay, what snacks do you recommend to curb your craving? I love salty, crunchy snacks. Okay, totally, girl. I feel you on that one. There's a few different things I have. One thing I really, really like, you know those rice cakes? I love rice cakes, and they're just made from brown rice. And you can get it with like the salted kind if you want some salt, or if I'm like really in a salty mood, I will have the rice cakes and I'll go take my favorite seasoning, like a taco seasoning or like a Cajun spice seasoning or like a lemon pepper seasoning, salt, and I will literally sprinkle it on the rice cakes, and it's so good. If you're kind of hungry and you want some like fat or protein to go with that so you feel full, this is so good. You can take avocado slices, put the avocado slices on the crunchy, salty crackers and rice cake, sprinkle on your favorite seasoning, and it's so good. It almost tastes like chips or like a guacamole. There's also, I noticed there are those bags of, you know, brown rice or like bean chips that you can get now that are like better for you than say Lay's chips. But my caution is, you typically beans and those types of chips, they sometimes can cause bloating. So maybe if you have eliminated like the dairy and you're still having bloating, it could be beans. It could be some vegetables too that your body's just having a hard time breaking down those fibers. So the other thing you can do is just take a digestive enzyme. Have you guys heard of Beano? I don't know if they have that in the US, but in Canada we have Beano. So you can have like a digestive enzyme with that and see if that helps too. Also, a lot of those crunchy, salty chip type snacks, they often have cheese or whey protein in them, so, or like milk proteins. So, because it's in like the flavoring and the dressings, you know, a lot of those seasoning salts that you put on like popcorn and stuff, you think you're having dairy free, but check the ingredients because a lot of them, I'd say most of them have some sort of milk protein in there. And we want to give our gut a break from all that. Oh, this is what I was going to say with dairy and milk proteins. What happens, our bodies are not designed to break down milk proteins as adults. The milk sugars, okay? So lactase is that enzyme that breaks down lactose, which is a milk sugar. what happens is that those dairy products, they sit in our gut and they just ferment and they cause gas and bloating. Okay, so and then it also just disrupts our whole microbiome, all the bacteria in there. Okay, so you guys have probably heard of people that have like their bodies are like full of yeast, or they get yeast infections easily, or just they can get fatigue from having too much yeast build up in their body. A lot of times that's because they don't have enough of the healthy bacteria in their guts. And if you've had medications, like I used to be a nurse, so I used to be a pill pusher. We'd be giving out so much antibiotics for everything, right? Antibiotics, you guys, kills off all bacteria. So if you've ever had antibiotics in your life, when you were taking that, you were killing off all the bacteria in your gut, right? And then so what happens is it disrupts the whole balance of healthy bacteria in your gut. So even to this day, if I know someone that had to take antibiotics, or someone in my family had to take antibiotics, yes, it's important. You can take it if you need it. But then after, you want to make sure you're taking a probiotic and having those fermented foods, kimchi, sauerkraut, apple cider vinegar, to help restore the gut health. Okay, you don't even necessarily need a probiotic pill. You can take the apple cider vinegar, the kimchi, sauerkraut, things like that to help balance out the gut health again. Side note, if you or someone you know that ever needs to take antibiotics, do not take a probiotic at the same time as you're taking an antibiotic, okay? Because it's gonna just kill it off. So if you want to take it during it, if you have to take antibiotics in the morning, you can take the probiotic in the evening. But even still, like a lot of times when you're taking antibiotics, often you have to take it like twice a day. So what I get people to do is just hold off until you're done your antibiotics and you know that you're clear. And then after that, then start taking your probiotics to start rebuilding your gut health back up. Are there probiotics that come from dairy source? Tim, great question. So a lot of people are like, oh, can I have yogurt for the healthy bacteria or for the probiotics? This is my opinion, I really believe that these yogurt companies just push the whole probiotic thing to get you to buy their products. But because typically those yogurts are full of crap. They're full of sugar, they're full of flavoring, they're full of all these other things that are actually feeding the unhealthy bacteria and not feeding your healthy bacteria. So I mean, you can if you want to, but in my personal opinion, I feel like you can stay away from the yogurts and like try to have other things if you can. That's just my opinion. And typically the people that I know that are like, oh yeah, I have yogurt for my probiotics, they're typically overweight, they typically have belly fat, they typically have bloating issues. It's kind of like the people that will, and this is no judgment, but are having like the gummy vitamins. Like those companies are marketing gummy vitamins to you that are full of sugar and like a bunch of other crap that is not helping you at all. Like you're better off just like going and eating some healthy foods or taking a vitamin or supplement that does not have sugars and fillers and a bunch of other stuff in there, okay? But if you find a really healthy Greek yogurt maybe that has no sugar in it and you want to add some fruit, you could try that. But just be aware. This is all about being aware of your body and how your body, you personally respond to different foods. Because some people might not be able to have any yogurt at all, and another person might do really well having, a really healthy, plain, organic Greek yogurt every day. So just really be aware. That's why I want you guys to have a food journal and start being aware of these things. Okay. Side note, does pre-workout break your intermittent fasting? Technically it does. Yeah, technically it does. But that being said, it's not going to completely take you out of an intermittent fast as long as it doesn't have like sugars in it. So you are going to get a little bit of an insulin response, but nothing crazy. So if you can hold off having your pre-workout, do that. But if you're like, no, this is a schedule I want to do, I want to work out in the mornings, I want to stay in a fasted state, I want to work out fasted, and I want to have my pre-workout drink, you're still going to have a ton of benefits doing that. I personally have such a hard time working out in a fasted state. Like I've tried it, I just cannot do it. Like I'll do it, but I'm like walking. Like I can't push myself hard. So, and now, you guys know, if you've been following me, you know that I'm all about like working out, lifting more weights, especially if you're over 30, and like really having that, progressive overloading my weights every week or, every few weeks. So really pushing myself. When you're lifting weights like that, you need to eat first. Like you will want to pass out. Like when I first started training with my trainer, like I wanted to pass out all the time. I used to try doing like the fasted workouts before, but I was like just dabbling. Like I was doing light weights, and that's not going to really change your body. It's okay to get started, but if you really want to push yourself to that next level with changing the shape of your body and you need to lift heavier weights, you need to eat first. So, but try different things out, right? Like everyone is so different. I grew up with a girl, like she was my best friend in high school, and she was a competitive basketball player. This girl could play so hard basketball without eating anything. And I was just like, I didn't know how she did it. But some people are just built like that. They can just like run, they can work out, they can lift weights. My trainer was like that, he's crazy. Like lift heavy weights completely fasted. And like me, I would be like hypoglycemic, like falling on the floor, cannot do that. So, what's your thoughts on Diet Coke? Nicole, great question. I am so against Diet Coke. I'm so against diet anything because it's full of aspartame. And aspartame is a neurotoxin. Okay, so that stuff does, like I will not let my kids have diet pops or sodas ever. Even, like I would rather them have, not that I let them have Coke. If they have pop, I'll let them have like a Sprite or like a ginger ale once in a while. But not the diet stuff because it's just the aspartame. It's just like, remember, our mindset is shifting today. Okay, we're eliminating the crap that's taking away our life, essentially, right? Like they're life-draining foods. They make us feel fatigued. They're messing up our bacteria. They're messing with our focus and all our hormones. And we're gonna focus on life-giving foods. We want more life-giving foods. It takes away that mindset of like dieting and like starving ourselves and like and I used to do all those things all the time, and it just ends up causing you more stress and anxiety, right? So instead of focusing on that, we're coming from a place of, I love this body. I'm so thankful to God that I have breath in my lungs. I'm healthy, I'm strong, or I'm on my way to healing, right? And how does this new version of me eat? Think of that person that you want to be in a year from now, 6 months from now. How does she eat? How does he eat and drink, right? And what life-giving foods align with this new version of you? And you know it's life-giving because you're going to feel better. You're going to have more life. You're going to have more energy. You're going to have better focus. You're going to have better digestion, right? So once in a while, okay, go have a Coke if you want. Go have some ice cream if you want. Go have some pizza if you want. Like, don't beat yourself up. When you're having those things, like, enjoy it, okay? But it's not something that you're going to give yourself every single day because you're focusing on giving more life-giving foods. Make sense? But really, really good question. I can only work out fasted. Okay, so Melissa, there you go. She's a perfect example of one of those weirdos. I'm just kidding. I think I'm the weirdo. Where you can work out fasted. Some people are just built like that. Like, that's amazing. Melissa, girl, though, I know you've been working out for a while. Are you starting to lift heavier weights? Is a question too, right? And I'm saying this to say that not everyone needs to lift heavy weights. I'm just saying if you wanted to do that, can you do that? How long should you wait to eat after a workout? Oh, you should eat right away. Yeah. So after you work out, you want to eat within the hour because you have depleted all your energy and your glycogen. You need to eat, and that's your metabolism is like on fire at that moment, okay? After you've worked out, because especially if you're doing like resistance training and stuff, your muscles have broken down, your body's like in repairing mode. You need to give your body nutrients so it can go and repair the muscles. That's when your metabolism is increasing, and that's when you're building muscles to like tone and burn that fat. So after you work out is so important to be eating, okay? That does not mean you go and you eat burgers. That's not the time to eat burgers. But it is a time you can have protein shakes or some protein, some healthy carbs, but you definitely want to eat right away, okay? What happens when you starve yourself, you guys? When you starve yourself after you've worked out, you end up burning more muscle. And we don't want to burn off our muscle because our muscle, we need our muscle, especially if you're over 30, over 40, over 50, we need muscle on our body to keep our metabolism strong. Okay, so we want to keep that muscle there because that muscle is going to help us burn fat when we're not working out. So we have a higher resting metabolic rate. Make sense? And foods that, like I have a whole list of foods, you guys, that help increase your resting metabolic rate and help with your hormones and metabolism. And that's all in my bio link and it's free. You guys can download that. Best Starbucks drinks you recommend? Oh, I love that question. I love Starbucks. Love Starbucks. So there's a couple different things. If it's in the afternoon, just like a nice plain green tea is amazing. Nice plain green tea. Green tea, you guys, is very thermogenic. It's so good for your gut health, actually. It's really good for increasing your metabolism. It helps cut any sugar cravings that you have, or if like you just ate, you need help with digestion. Green tea is amazing. Just think of the Asian cultures, like the traditional Asian cultures. What do? They eat a lot of rice and carbs, but they always have green tea after. Plain green tea, no milk, no sugar, okay? If you need something to sweeten it, just have some stevia in there. My morning coffee, if I'm gonna get something from Starbucks, and I'm not fasting, so it's like later on in the day, or maybe I'm just done fasting for that morning, I'll have a blonde latte with almond milk. Blonde latte with almond milk. So whatever, basically what you can do is get any drink that you want, but get it with like an almond milk or an oat milk. The ones at Starbucks, I think they do have a little bit of, I don't think they use the unsweetened almond milks or the unsweetened coconut milk, because I can taste a little bit of sweetness, because I at home will have the unsweetened version. And then for syrup, either skip the syrups, or if you want like a special treat, you could have it maybe just half the pump of sweetener in it, or you could do a sugar-free sweetener. I'm not sure if the syrups at Starbucks have aspartame in them. There is a good possibility that they do have aspartame. So if I ever get a sugar-free vanilla, it's like literally once in a while. Like I probably have it 3 times a year, and I'll just have like a couple squirts of that in there. Also, you guys, speaking of fasting is so good for the gut as well. So there's like a true fast, like a true intermittent fast, where people don't eat or drink anything for 16 hours, 14, 16 hours. Maybe they just have water. If you're having anything outside of water, even coffee or almond milk or anything, you're technically breaking a fast in a sense of you're getting your digestive system working again. So you're not necessarily gonna have a huge insulin response, but you might have some gut response to it. So people that wanna really truly give their gut a break and go into like it's something called autophagy, where the body starts recycling damaged cells in the body. That's when they're only having water and they are going for like even longer than 16 hours. I don't personally do that, but if you wanted to take it to that extreme, you can do that. And there's like so much research on this too, you guys, you can go check it out. I just like on a side note, you guys, I used to be, before now, I used to be that super serious girl. And it wasn't even me. But when you get so busy with life, you're taking care of your kids, you're working on your career, or you're running a household, or you're a student, or you're just taking on all these, maybe elderly parents, you're taking on the stresses of the world, and you're just taking care of everyone, and you completely lose yourself in the process. It's like, when was the last time you've been laughing, like having like that belly laugh, right? These are things that are very life-giving to you, okay? When's the last time you just like relaxed or just did something without an agenda, where you just had fun, right? I don't care if you're like 65 years old or 45 or 16, right? Like we need to be having fun and laughing and enjoying things, like just taking a nice relaxing bath, going and working out, doing like a dance class, like doing something, giving yourself permission to have fun again. And that in itself, when I did that, I didn't do this until after my husband passed away, because I had been under so much stress. I was just so anxious. I didn't even realize it. I was just trying to be strong for him and for my family. And then after that all happened, I was like, I'm 33. I don't want to live this life. I want to be laughing. I want to be full of joy. I want to like enjoy my life. I want my kids to have a happy mom, right? I want to look good. I want to feel good, right? So but it was a choice that I had to make, and I could not look to anyone else for that permission, because most people are walking around super serious and stressed out too. So don't look to them for a permission, because you ain't gonna get it, okay? You need to give yourself permission to do this. And it takes practice, especially if you've been practicing over this last few years to be super serious all the time, okay? And I understand people have stress, and you don't understand what I'm going through. Yes, I understand, okay? Like, you can imagine, I was 33, 4 little kids, all of a sudden new widow in a global pandemic, okay? And that's when I decided, like, screw this, I'm having fun. And when I say I'm having fun, I'm not talking about like doing unhealthy things for fun, because naturally what we do as humans, when we're not filling ourselves up with pleasure in a healthy way, like doing things that are life-giving, we tend to escape and turn to unhealthy things to help numb that pain or to help give us pleasure, because we move away from pain and towards pleasure. So that's when people start developing like addictive behaviors, or emotionally eating, or like spending, frivolous spending of money. All these things we tend to do, and a lot of times we don't even realize it because we just want to feel good. So instead of doing those things, and don't beat yourself up if you have turned to that, because I feel like we've all done those things. This is like a no judgment zone. You're not going to beat yourself up anymore, but you are going to start like taking time and writing out, okay, what are things that really give me life? What are the foods that make me feel really good? Water, tea, obviously adaptogens. You guys know all about my adaptogens. Ashwagandha, reading, music, having candles, taking baths, going for runs, going to dance classes, spending time with your friends, outsourcing things that you don't enjoy doing, like getting a house cleaner. Do something so you can go and spend more time with your family or your husband or your wife or your partner or whatever, right? Like, do things that make you really feel good. And what's going to happen, because every thought has a biochemical reaction in the body, right? So once you start doing those things and filling up your life with joy, like spending more time meditating, praying, giving thanks, having a gratitude journal, connecting to God, stuff like that, having more love in your life, that is so healing to the body. It is, I know it sounds so like cheesy, but it's so healing to your hormones and to your immune system and to your gut. That in itself will help you so much with simple things like bloating. What teas do you drink and herbs? Blue Moon, great question. I love teas, you guys. Teas are so soothing and like healing to the body and energizing and very thermogenic, so that means that they help with the metabolism. So depending on what time of the day it is, so early in the day I'll have more energizing teas, and in the evening I have more like soothing, calming teas. So in the morning I'll have, or maybe not in the morning, because usually I'll have coffee, but sometimes if I don't want coffee, I'll just have like a herbal tea or a black tea, or typically like that, or a green tea. And then I will always add my adaptogen drops. You guys all know about my adaptogen drops. There are herbs in here. Oops, there we go. Herbs in there. So they have the adaptogens. The adaptogens help the body adapt to stress at a hormonal level. There's tons of research on this now, how this helps the body like lower the cortisol levels. So in both of these, they have maca. Maca is Peruvian ginseng. They have Panax ginseng. They have, did I say rhodiola? What's the other one? Yeah, those are the main ones. Maca, rhodiola, ginseng. Ashwagandha is another one. So this is the Miyadora ashwagandha. This one's organic ashwagandha. Just make sure it's a really good quality ashwagandha. This one has the black pepper in it, so it helps with the bioavailability of it. I personally like ashwagandha in pill form. I find when I take it in a powder form in a tea just doesn't have the same effect. That's just me. Maybe somebody else is different. Same with maca. I find the maca, the Peruvian ginseng adaptogen herb, has such a strong taste. So if I put it in a smoothie or my tea, I feel like you just can't have enough of it for it to really feel the effects. So that's why I like having it in the drop form. Okay. And then in the evening time, I like holy basil or chamomile tea. So holy basil is another adaptogen. It's tons of research too on holy basil lowering cortisol levels, and it's just very calming, very soothing. There's no caffeine in it. So this is a really good brand. It's Flora. You can get it at like a health food store. Flora is, it's a really good brand, and it's just like a nice soothing tea. It's very, very calming, very relaxing, helps with sleep. Ashwagandha also helps with sleep, which will help lower like cortisol levels as well, which will help with your metabolism. And then the other one is just chamomile tea, or like a peppermint tea is really good for digestion. So if you are, trying to really heal your gut and you're really like full in, changing up your diet after you eat, have some peppermint tea, because peppermint is like super soothing to the body, super soothing to the gut, helps with digestion. Fennel tea is also really good for digestion. A lot of Indians, I believe, let me know, they have like seeds or something, right? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I think it's fennel seeds, and they'll eat that after they eat a lot of their heavier foods, and that helps with digestion as well. Yes, so holy basil is also known as Tulsi tea. I've been enjoying it lately. Yes, so yes, that's totally right, Tammy. Holy basil tea is also known as Tulsi. I think it's Indian as well. Is Tulsi Indian? I'm not 100% sure. A lot of this is from the traditional Ayurvedic medicine and the traditional Chinese medicine. So ashwagandha is Indian ginseng. Maca is Peruvian ginseng, and then the Panax ginseng is Asian. And the cool thing is there's so much research now that backs all this up to show how this is so calming to the body, calming to the nervous system, which in turn is helping the gut health as well. So, anise tea is from the Middle East. Okay, yes, because Melissa is Lebanese, right, Melissa? Is that right? You're Lebanese? Anise, I've never heard of anise tea. But a lot of these older cultures, they have all these really soothing teas, and a lot of them have such amazing food, so I can see why afterwards they would have all these teas to help soothe their gut, help with digestion and all that stuff, right? If you guys want a list of the supplements that I just talked about, you can click on my bio link there in the top there, and I have a free ebook you can check out. If you have any questions, you can DM me on Instagram. Make sure you're following here, and so you get notifications when I go live and put out more videos. And yeah, it was fun. I love hanging out with you guys. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you all for the love and the likes too. If you got my adaptogens, even if you don't have them yet, go to my bio link and download that ebook. I was just talking to a YouTuber this past weekend, huge YouTuber, and she was like, your ebook changed my life. I've heard this so often. I'm like, girl, you need to tell me so I can share this with other people. Because it talks a lot about intermittent fasting, and it has lists of foods in there that really are life-giving and just really, really help with the body, okay? So you're gonna be doing that physical stuff, but then also I'm always encouraging you to do that inner work, taking time to de-stress, taking time to really refill yourself, give yourself permission to do that. No more judging yourself or judging others, but just really take this time to just love on yourself. And that in itself will help you so much with your gut health and with your weight loss journey. I promise. All right, you guys, I love you so much love to you, and I hope you have an amazing day. And just remember, you totally were meant to watch this for a reason, and your life is so worth it, and do something amazing for yourself today, okay? I love you guys, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.